Hello again, and thank you for joining me. This is Michelle McTagg, your local Coldwell Banker Realtor about town. And today I am sitting with someone who is a dear friend. I met her a few years ago when I worked at the Salvation Army. This is Susan Nixon Stoughton, and she is the executive director of the Lighthouse, which is a domestic violence shelter that's located here in Fairfield County. And it's such an amazing charity that helps so many people that I thought it'd be great to talk to her. So Susan, thank you for joining me.
Well, Michelle, thanks for coming down to my house.
I know,
yes.
I am in your house.
Yes, you
are.
Yeah.
We're in her offices, and it's in a really old, cool building.
It was formerly a church,
yeah.
Because I would love to tell you that I was located within the shelter, but our shelter was built in 1900, not the 1900s, it was built in 1900, and we are just busting at the seams. So the shelter is 6 individual apartments, and we have 18 beds. Our shelter is somewhat different from others because we have 6 individual units. We accept men, and many shelters cannot. We are also a safe zone, which means we are LGBTQ certified. So we do an awful lot with very little.
And how many domestic violence shelters are there in Fairfield County?
In Fairfield County, we're it. And I will tell you that in the counties that butt up against us, there is a shelter in Pickaway County, nothing in Hocking, nothing in Perry, and we are many times the overflow for Franklin County shelters.
Right.
Most of the time our calls come from Mount Carmel East because they have tried other shelters, they're not getting anywhere, and there are no availabilities. They say statistically, it takes a woman 7 times leaving before she's gone for good.
Right.
And a lot of times that's because financial reasons, that she doesn't see an end, light at the end of the tunnel of how she's going to be able to make ends meet.
Especially if there's kids involved.
And most of the time,
what do you do if they have children?
We've had a woman who had 7 children
that stayed in the shelter.
Yes, indeed.
Wow.
Yeah. We've had everything from a woman who actually found the shelter pounding on the door and still had duct tape on her and was bleeding. We've had those calls where they know where we were and they were able to find us,
right.
To someone who is being released from a hospital. We have found ourselves in the last 9 months, we're helping more and more victims of human trafficking. And that's something that I'm not going to lie to you. The first case that I came in upon, it was over a Saturday night into an early Sunday morning. Probably too much for people to hear, I stood by a garbage can because the more I heard, the more nauseous I became. And I'm a small town girl. I grew up in Bremen, Ohio.
Right.
And I don't want to think that I was extremely naive to the ways of the world.
But you were.
Yes.
You think that doesn't happen here, but it is happening here.
And exactly those words. I'm here to tell you it does. It's much closer to home than you think.
To keep the shelter running and supplied and staffed, would you say monetary donations are probably the most important thing you need right now?
Right now, yes. Because
because then you can buy what you need. So you can buy what you need for your clients, and you can pay your staff. You can do the maintenance on the 119-year-old building that they're in.
And then I can tell you that a plumber and electrician are like my 2 best friends, and I don't even need to look up their phone numbers anymore.
You have them memorized.
Yes, because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
The second thing would be items that we go through all the time. We will hand clients boxes of garbage bags, tall kitchen up to the great big black garbage bags, when we've been able to, and we work with police departments, sheriff's office, wherever they live, to be able to gain access to where their home was. And that becomes luggage because they have to move quickly. So we go through garbage bags like you wouldn't believe, ground coffee, because as we have clients coming in, I kind of giggle and say the last thing I need is caffeine, but it's that comfort of holding a warm cup. So we go through a lot of coffee. paper towels. We go through like crazy. So the other thing I would say is we can no longer, used to be in the past, the Lighthouse would accept gently used clothing. We can't do that anymore because we've simply run out of space. However, the church across from where the Lighthouse, where my office is, it's called St. Peter's Lutheran Church, and they do a clothing closet, and our clients can go over and take as much as they want to.
And we're at 327 North Broad Street in Lancaster right now.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
And the church is catty corner.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I appreciate you taking on this challenge. Someone had to do it, right?
You know, it's
Sucker.
wow. Okay, I'll accept that. You know, I will tell you that I have learned a lot. I feel like I've grown even more, but I've probably been given more from some of the clients we've been able to help. They're incredible, resilient. They're amazing. They are, and I think to myself, would I have the strength to do what they've done?
Right.
And many times do it with 3 or 4 kids. Yet they do. And what I've seen work happen in 30 days for one of our trafficking clients, everything from securing her a state ID, because of course her trafficker had that, birth certificate, glasses that were broken were replaced, all of these things, and it happened in 30 days. And then we were able to get her into a treatment center, and it was a very, very sad case. She was very young when she was sold, and it was a very sad case. Yet she had the determination to
get out.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the 9 months that I've been here, we've only had one client go back to her abuser.
That's
one
really
client.
good. I mean, it's not good for her, but it's a good overall statistic for what you're doing.
But that's because of my staff. They make sure that they have hooked them up with Job and Family Services if they're able to apply for Social Security or whatever the need is, to make sure that they're able to secure the babysitting that they need so that they can go back to work. Some of our clients don't even have a high school diploma, and we've been able to get them hooked up to get their GED and make sure that they have the computer that they need to work on. And so by having the staff literally sit there and take the time to invest in the client and make sure that they're set up for success, that's why they're not having to go back.
I will have all of Susan's contact information at the end of the video, but if this is tugging on your heartstrings and you feel like you need to reach out and see in what ways you can help, please call Susan.
And if there's a donor that really wants to do a specific need, I would encourage you to please call me and let's make arrangements and let's tour the shelter. Once they get in there, they really realize that we need to get some things done.
Right. Well, thank you for taking time
Thank
out
you.
of your crazy day. I appreciate it.
And she knows because I had to keep putting her off. People kept coming in the
phone
door.
was ringing. The door, yeah. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking time so we can share this important message and what you do with the community. And thank you for joining me again. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions about real estate anywhere in Fairfield County, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to chat, even if you just have general questions. I'm here for you. Until next time, have a great day.